Everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today for this video I'm going to be doing this sparkly bronzed makeup look. So first of all, I'm going to start with my eyebrows because I am using glitter. So I'm just taking my MAC Fluid Line gel liner in low lights to just roughly fill them in. Then I'm moving on to this Wet n Wild brow kit, I guess. It has two brow shades, a wax, an eyebrow brush, tweezers, and a mirror, which I actually just discovered today. So I'm using the lighter brown shade just to fill in the front of my brows, and then I'm going to swap over to the darker brown shade just to fill in the end part of my brows. So I'm going to quickly prime my eyes with my MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot as per usual. Then taking the Freedom makeup palette, I am just setting that primer into place. I actually love the shade for doing that. So moving on to my Unicorn Sauce palette from Switch Beauty, I am going to use that bright yellow shade into my crease as my first transition shade. Then moving on to my Jaclyn Hill palette, I am using that, I guess it's a chickpea colored shade, and placing that into my crease as well, and then I'll be slowly building up the intensity of this shadow. Moving on to the brown shade that's right next to the first shade we applied, I am placing that into my crease just slightly below the first eyeshadow shade that we applied. Then I'm just taking a darker brown and just darkening up that crease and those colors just so I can get that intensity. Then moving on to the Meet Matrimony palette, yeah, I think it's that one. I'm using that brown shade just to get my shape, get my crease shape, and I am also concentrating that shadow in the inner corner and outer corner of my eyes to create sort of a halo effect. Then I'm taking the darker chocolate brown shade from Jaclyn Hill and just warming that up and intensifying the inner and outer corners of my eye. So just to clean up the center of my eye, I want that halo shape. So I'm just taking some of my MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot just to carve out that shape. And then whatever shadow was left on my angled brush, I am just neatening up the corners of that paint pot just to bring the shape back, bring the color back. Then I'm going back into that brown shade and just adding a bit more to the ends to create that sort of moon type half circle shape that I want for my eye. So it should look something like that. Then going back in with that yellow shade from Switch Beauty, I'm just intensifying the crease shades just a little bit more. Then from the same Switch Beauty palette, I'm taking the burnt orange shade just to darken it up a little bit more. Now I wanted some depth, so from the Switch Beauty palette I'm taking the purple shade at the bottom and I am adding this to the inner and outer corners of my eye and just slightly joining it up into the crease. So it should look something like this. Then I'm taking that sparkly pinky purple shade and just lightly placing this onto the center of my eye just to swap over to a darker, more silvery mauve glittery shade, and just adding that on top of the first glittery shade. Now for the actual glitter, I'm using the NYX Glitter Brilliant, and this was in the shade Bronze. So I'm just taking some of the primer and I'm placing that onto the center of my eyelids and just smoothing it out with a brush. Then now I'm just going to be packing the glitter onto where I've placed the glue, and for this you want to do it in patting motions so that the glitter sticks and does not fall on your face. So after that's done, I'm taking Matte Roasting again from the Balm palette and I am just intensifying the outer corner of my eye. So now for my eyeliner, you'll see I'm sort of carving out a V shape onto my eye and then joining it up as a wing on the outer edge of my eye, just to create sort of that C shape on the inner corner. That gel line was actually getting quite irritating to work with, so I just swapped over to the Wet n Wild eyeliner. And then just to fill everything in and make it join, I'm taking that purple shade from the Switch Beauty palette, and I am just blending that into the liquid liner. So now, to clean up our face and proceed with base, I'm just using some toner to get those stray glitters off of my face. So foundation time, I am using the Crayola TV paint stick in the shade LO, and I'm actually mixing this with my Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless in the shade 250 with a Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. I feel that it applies better. Now for concealer. These are the Wet n Wild concealers in the shade light medium beige, and medium tawny. So the first one is the light medium beige, and the second one is the medium tawny. And these are actually brilliant. So here I'm applying the medium tawny, and then I will go in with the light medium beige on top of this and blend it all out. These concealers are absolutely amazing. I really love them. They are full coverage, and I mean, for the price they are brilliant. I absolutely enjoy them, but I know they are limited in terms of color, so yeah, that's the only downside. So just going in with my Real Techniques blending sponge, I'm just blending out that concealer, and you can see how beautiful it looks, and it's such a lovely finish. So next I'm moving on to the Wet n Wild pressed powder. It's a photo focus pressed powder, and I am just setting my under eyes and everywhere I've placed the concealer, and it sort of reminds me of the MAC Skin Finish. So for contour, I'm just using my NYX contour palette just to carve out them cheekbones, and then we will be moving on. Now going in with that yellow shade from Switch Beauty, I'm doing my lower lash line. So I'm just applying this to my lower lash line, and then using that chickpea shade from the Jaclyn Hill. So just as we did our crease, I am doing the lower lash line. So now for the lower lash line, I am just using my my gel liner just to do my lower lash line, and then I'm taking that black eyeshadow shade from my Freedom palette, and I'm just smoking out the lower lash line, but very slightly. I don't want it too overwhelming underneath there, and I'm just connecting my lower lash line to my wing and just smoking everything out so it's seamless. Then I'm taking this vanilla sparkly shade, and I'm just highlighting my brow bone because I think that's one of the most beautiful brow bone highlight colors. Then I'm swapping over to a fluffy blending brush and just blending the highlight shade into my crease shade. Then time for eyelashes. I'm using the House of Lashes lashes in the style Iconics. So this is what we have so far. Now for the best part, this is the Wet n Wild highlighters, and in the shade Precious Petals and Queen of my Canopy or something like that. So I'm just quickly swatching both of these highlighters onto the side of my arm. As weird as it seems, it was the only body part available to me. And I actually thought that they wouldn't work with my skin tone, but they are beautiful. They are so finely molded. It's, I promise you, one of the best highlighters I have ever used. And I have the Mary Luminizer, and guys, this is amazing. So I'm just layering the two highlighters on top of each other, the lighter one first and the darker one on top of that. It gives you such a natural glow. It is absolutely beautiful. So I love these, go and get them. So now for lips, I'm using the Urban Decay Vice lipstick in the shade Uptight, and oh my word, I just discovered this. It is one of the best nudes that I own, and my favorite nude by far is Velvet Teddy, but I think this might come pretty close to Velvet Teddy. So guys, there you have it, my bronzy, glittery, sparkly eye look. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. See you next time guys, bye.